Elephind. It's like an elephant, except because I guess they never forget. Anyway, it's spelled Elephind. Elephind is a way to research a global archive of newspapers. They've got more than 4,000 titles, and it's free. This is a wonderful resource for writers, and for that matter, genealogists or reporters or anybody who's looking for information. I tried it out this morning, and I thought it was wonderful. One last story, which may not be a surprise to you as we're coming to the closing days of 2020. A winner has been announced. Who was the decade's best-selling author from 2010 to 2019? It was not me. I know, you're shocked, but it was actually James Patterson, who sold 84 million units, meaning print books or ebooks. Let me break that down for you. That means he's had a bestseller each year in adult, YA, and juvenile fiction, more than one in most cases. It means 1 in 7 books sold in the suspense thriller category was written by Patterson. Written, I should say it's got his name on it, because we know he's publishing a lot of books under his name that are co-written or ghost-written, or he's actually been one of the most honest and upfront authors out there about acknowledging that he's got help. I mean, how could he not? Because he sometimes got so many books a month. Nobody could write that. It's just not possible. But he says he works over an outline with each of his authors, and then they do the writing part. And so they're really James Patterson books. What to me makes the most distinctive is that all the James Patterson books follow his style. Some are going to be better, worse, but they're all written in the James Patterson style, which is basically no words, no wasted descriptions, tell the story, tell it straight, get on with it. And people seem to respond to that very well. If you've read my book, Sizzling Style, you've heard me talk about style, and in many ways, not all, but in many ways, I think that's an effective way to write popular fiction. If you're writing something else, you might take a different approach. But as I remember Patterson saying once in an interview, when the detective is running up to the house to arrest this serial killer, nobody cares what the house looks like. And he is so right. And it's paid off for him in the biggest and best possible way. Hey, you should be the best-selling author of the next decade. And who knows, it could happen only if you start writing. So keep writing, write every day, and don't give up, Red Sneaker writers. Next time, it might be you. In my writing tip section, I don't even know if this is really a writing tip. It's a tip, and it involves your writing career, but it's not, like use active voice or any of that. But I suspect you've heard most of that, and this really is something that can impact your writing, so I'm going to put it in this section anyway. Amazon Author Central has made a major upgrade to its page. Just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, everybody who's got books for sale at Amazon, which I hope would be everybody who's got books for sale, period, is entitled to start an Amazon Author Central page where you can put up your picture and your bio, and you can talk to your fans, and you can post blogs or videos, book release videos, or anything else. Basically try and give people more information about you and your books. And now it's been redesigned. It looks really good. You got this carousel thing going on with your book covers, and it's all very hip and modern. If you haven't done it yet, man, you need to take control of your author page. Claim your books, which now you can even look at reports for different marketplaces, like here's Canada and here's India and here's Australia, wherever your books are selling, all from this single page. It's much more modern. And if you're thinking, hey, nobody ever looks at this, they so do. I've done it. I know people have done it. Anytime people are looking at your books, they can click on the title and look at that book. They can look at the series name, Judge and Jury, Book 5 in the Daniel Pike Legal Thriller series, and that'll take them to the series page, which I think I talked about on the last podcast. But if they click on your name, they go to your Amazon Author Central page. So make the most of it. It's a great resource on the biggest bookseller in the world. More than 50% of all books in the United States sold at Amazon. And here's your chance to have a page that's really spiffy and updated, works well on your phone or tablet or computer. So however people are browsing for books, they can see you there. So there's my tip. Make the most of your Amazon Author Central page. My interview this time is with the wonderful and charming Lauren Turow, who was nice enough to set aside some time. I know this company is going by leaps and bounds and they're busy, but she gave me some time so that I can inform those of you who are interested in promoting your books, how you might be able to use Lately, Lately, to improve your social media presence. And here's what she had to say. Lauren, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks, Bill. I'm glad to be here.
All right. My traditional first question. If you were to give one piece of advice to an aspiring author, what would it be?
That is a great question. I think that just in terms of writing, my number one rule is to really command the power of the pen, really write like a boss. You're the authority. You have the power. Don't undercut your writing with any of those weak words like need or think or maybe possibly things like that. And kind of on that same note, really also read your writing out loud. If it feels weird saying it, it's going to feel weird to read it. So those are really some of my two favorite little tips with writing.
I think that's terrific advice. Although I've known people or seen situations where they start reading their own prose and they kind of dress it up like they're doing their first book signing at Barnes and Noble and sort of use their voice to compensate for the flaws in the prose, which is not really the point.
That's excellent point. And so like that, I guess that does add a little extra layer of confusion to it.
Well, I wrote a whole book called Sizzling Style, the whole point of which is just what you just said succinctly in about 30 seconds. Choose your words well, because it makes a big difference. Lauren, you are the head of growth at Lately, right?
I am, yes.
And Lately is it correct? Should I call it a social media scheduling? You tell me what it is.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Okay. I got that from your website.
The Shoemaker Has No Shoes. Our website is not the best. We are working on updating it. Okay. But Lately is an artificially intelligent content curation platform. So
that is much better.
Yeah. We take long form content, so blogs, newsletters, press releases, articles, chapters of books, and also audio and video content, so podcasts, webinars, and interviews. And we help you create dozens of amazing social posts out of it. So we really help you cut down on all that time you're spending thinking and watching that cursor blink on a blank page and really help you to boost up your social media.
You must have to go through some process to find out what the client's business is and what it is they're trying to promote.
Yeah, we do. We have a very hands-on approach to our customers. So when someone comes and they're interested in using our platform, we typically like to have a nice 30-minute session where we find out more about them. We see if it's a good fit. It is definitely a beast of a product, so
Mhm.
we definitely like to have that really individualized support with it.
Okay, you tell me, I'll tell you what this sounds like to my cynical mind, and you tell me where I'm completely wrong, okay?
Sure.
So it sounds like I'm going to log on. I'm going to say, well, I'm an author. I've written all these books. Most of them are legal thrillers. And in return, what I mean, do I just get a lot of memes with author quotes? Because I don't think that's really going to sell books. What would I get?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, what Lately is doing is we're looking at all of your past posts, and even if you don't have a lot of past social media content, that's okay. We can take any of your top keywords and words and phrases that are really relevant to you and your topic that you're writing about, things like that. And that's where the AI comes into play. So the AI will look at whatever you're feeding into our platform to create these little snippets or like little mini movie trailers for your
Mm,
content. So instead of just saying, hey, check out the book that I just released this week, you have 15 or 20 of these really compelling little bits and pieces to draw someone in because not everybody is going to want to click on or read every one of your posts. Maybe you post one thing and someone sees it and they're like, no, that's not interesting to me. Maybe they see the next post and, maybe that's going to click with them a little bit more. But then they see the third post and that's exactly what they want to read. So
right.
that's when they click. That's when they're going to want to read more and find out more about what you're doing. So it gives you this opportunity to come up with a lot of these different avenues of access for that piece of content.
Well, that's why don't they recommend that you post several times a day because you don't know when people are watching, and most people don't make a purchase the first time they hear about something, right?
Exactly. Yes. Especially with the different algorithms of the platforms. And, it's always surprising to me when I am on a call with someone or a meeting with someone and they say, well, I post on Twitter once a week. Isn't that enough? No, no, that is not enough. You should be posting on something like Twitter at least 5 times per day. And then people ask, well, that's going to start to annoy my audience. No, it's not. They're not all going to see everything that you're posting all the time.
Mhm.
So,
I bet a lot of people's hearts fluttered a little bit when you said 5 times a day, although I've heard other people say 20 times a day or whatever. But
well, five
you
is
know,
on the low end.
yeah, well, okay, realistically, if I did that, I'd never get a book finished. So is
Yeah,
that where lately comes in?
exactly. So, if you take maybe a chapter of your book, you have, let's say, 30 pages of your book and you paste it into Lately, you could probably get roughly around 100 different social posts. Now, I'm not saying that you would want to use every single one of them. You want to always review them. You want to make sure that it all makes sense and has context, those types of things. We don't want the robots to take over the world, right? We're not there yet.
Okay.
So you would go through and maybe out of those 100, you pick 40 of them. And then you can go ahead and schedule out, oh, I don't know, 5 of them per week over the next, what is that, 8 weeks? And then you can do the next chapter of your book. And that way you can overlay those different pieces. So that way you're not just saying the same thing over and over and over again, just
Right.
all in the same week. You have a lot of different topics and different things going on to really get people interested.
Good. Now, a minute ago, did I hear you say movie trailers? Like, are we talking about video content here?
We are, yeah. Well,
How does
so
that work?
yeah, that's a great question. So with the movie trailers, with the video content, you would need to have a video file. So if Bill, if you and I were recording this with some video, or even if you
Mhm.
turned this podcast into something like an audiogram, we would be able to put that into Lately, and Lately will actually go through and chop that up. So you'll not only get that little written piece of social post, but you're also going to get as many of the little 5 to 15-second snippets or clips of that file as well. So now you have those to put on Facebook or Instagram, things like that, and they can be captioned, because who has their phone on